Love.
Fine. Certainly I can tell you what
Love.
is.
Howdy there, folks. I'm Keegan Van Hook, and this is Us As We Are.
What we call sound.
In this episode, we're on an Oregonian escapade of great significance. We'll start with two stories from Crater Lake. First, welcoming a group of immigrants as new U.S. citizens at a naturalization ceremony held at the beautiful Watchman Overlook. And then after, we'll get a scoop of the action at the annual Ride the Rim cycling event, where we'll learn a thing or two about the power of pickles. Later, I'll turn this episode's attention to the sky above this beautiful land. My crew and I tried at filming the annular solar eclipse of October 2023, but because we were met with limited success on that endeavor, I'll present you our full coverage of this last summer's Perseid Meteor Shower via a watch party held at the Siskiyou Field Institute. And then, to finish out tonight's show, I'll return to Crater Lake, but this time from above, as I experience my first time flying in a small aircraft. And I do mean small. We're on an adventure from the crater to the cosmos. Please, join us.
This is a new dimension in sound. This is
Love.
my. As the record plays,
Love.
my.
Hi, I'm Marcia McCabe. I'm the Chief of Interpretation and Education here at Crater Lake National Park, and we're here today for a naturalization ceremony. A naturalization ceremony is when candidates from other countries who have gone through the process become citizens, new citizens of the United States. So we had 26 new citizens today from 13 different countries.
My name is Hannes Geiger. I work at the Portland, Oregon field office where you took your test. Some of you might have interviewed with me. Welcome back. Please stand and remove your hats for the national anthem.
For most of us, our lives are lived in the passage of days that seem very similar to each other. Our challenge is to make our lives meaningful in our ordinary circumstances. Some days, graduations, weddings, the birth of our children, alter the course, and we know we'll never be the same again. We hope that this is such a day for you. I will ask you each to raise your right hand, and you will follow after me. I hereby declare, on oath, so help me God. Congratulations, you're now United States citizens.
I'll just have you start by introducing yourself.
Maria Alegría.
And what brings you here to Crater Lake today, Maria?
I became a new citizen. Oh my God.
And where are you from originally?
Mexico. I came here when I was 15 years old, all alone, no parents. So I worked all my way until I got citizenship.
I'm Sumesh Bakshi, and originally from India, but today an American citizen. Such a happy, proud, and emotional moment. The love and the encompassment and how you are absorbed into this country, beautiful.
We're from Russia. My name's Vlad.
And I'm Ksenia.
It's been hard 8 years.
Yeah.
We made it.
It's a very special moment today. We really like it here and we're happy.
My name is Alvaro Caviedes. I'm from Colombia and I live currently in Portland, Oregon. So I came to Portland for a master's degree in 2014 and I stayed there for 3 years, but then I met my wife. She was the roommate of one of my friends and we married in 2017 and then we started the journey with the green card and then the citizenship today.
I am from Bolivia, South America. I am married 25 years old. I married in my country, my husband. And it's great. I am happy in the United States for citizenship.
I'm an immigrant myself. I came from Austria in 1997. I became a citizen in 2009. I understand how special this day is for all of you. For me, after all these years and the many ceremonies I partook, it still gives me goosebumps to hear the national anthem and to hear all of you then say the oath of allegiance.
Can I ask why you wanted to come to the United States back when you were 15? What drew you to this country?
I want to go to school because we didn't have the way to in Mexico, you know. I'm not rich now, but I'm better than down there because we hardly have shoes.
Yeah, I mean, life has been hard in Russia. I don't know if it's ever been easy, to be completely honest with you, but right now we are especially grateful that we're not there because I think it's close to impossible to live right now, to leave Russia, with everything that's going on there.
Dimple's parents have been living in Ashland since almost 25 years. Then our two daughters, they came and studied in SOU. So we've been visiting America on and off since almost 18 years. And then we love this place and we got an opportunity to move here. So here we are. We moved around 5 years ago. And the moment we came in, we felt like this is home also. Like India is very loving, but here the community, welcomed us so beautifully. And today, officially, we're part of the American family now. It's such a happy moment.
All the things that you brought with you, your literature, your music, your food, makes the United States a much better place.
I love how they acknowledge where the places where we came from. It was just really special, and we of course with Crater Lake in the background, it gives this ceremonial, spiritual sense to the whole thing, which I love.
Oregon is great, and Washington that borders it is great as well, and we are kind of in between these two states, so it's great.
I always say India is my country of birth, but America, I chose to be born here, and I'm 5.5 years old. This is I gave birth to myself in America.
What does it mean for you now? Like now that you have your citizenship, what does that change for you? What kind of doors does that open for you guys?
Honestly, it's more, I think, about just your perception. You don't feel that you don't belong anymore. You don't feel like a foreigner anymore.
I'm not going to be afraid anymore on any laws change, because that's very scary. So much to say, but I have no words. Thank United States for everything they done for me, and I am very grateful. And I have a lot of people around me that support me, and I feel blessed, very blessed.
And I have a special message from President Joe Biden to our new citizens.
Welcome, my fellow Americans. First and foremost, I want to thank you for choosing us, believing that America is worthy of your aspirations. Every immigrant comes from America from different circumstances and for different reasons, but you all have one thing in common: courage. The courage it takes to sacrifice and make this journey.
We'll leave our new fellow Americans to reflect on our president's kind words and move on to another story we encountered at Crater Lake. Every year in September, thousands of cyclers from around the Pacific Northwest and United States at large descend on the national park for a very special opportunity for some unforgettable bike riding.
Hello, my name is Corbin Gocher. I'm a backcountry ranger here at Crater Lake National Park, and today is the Ride the Rim event, and that is allowing thousands of visitors from around the country and around the world, I think, to drive and bike 25 miles of uninterrupted road going around the rim.
I am Tanya Albright, and I am the Interim Executive Director for Discover Klamath, which is the tourism office for Klamath County. We are currently up at Crater Lake National Park at Ride the Rim. This is our 10th year being involved. Absolutely fantastic event, and couldn't be more excited to be here today, and super busy, and we're happy about that.
The full rim consists of about 33 miles of very hilly areas, and so we've blocked off about 25 miles from this point basically around to our park headquarters, and so individuals who are wanting to bike or walk or unicycle can go beyond that point and not have to worry about dodging cars. Once they get past that road, it's a free-for-all for those bikers to enjoy themselves.
I've never done this, but I've always wanted to. It's on my Oregon bucket list.
It's going to be absolutely amazing, 33 miles around and beautiful weather. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I'm from Bend, and you can't live in Bend and not cycle.
Right.
To be honest, I was talked into it by my boyfriend, and it turned out to be easier than I anticipated. Still challenging, but I'm happy to be here.
It was steep in places and wildly downhill with the occasional pothole just to keep you keen in other places. I didn't hit any potholes, so that was good news.
It's what you call undulating. You go up, you go down. In Nepal, they have a saying, there is no flat. You're either always going up or you're going down, and that's this road.
Just riding in, I thought there's a lot of people, which is really cool. Nice to see so many people like outdoors and enjoying it, being active.
When we came in this morning, there was a long line of cars down at the base, so we decided to go ahead and ride the 9 miles up the hill to here, and then we've been riding around the rim, enjoying the views. It's been fantastic.
I'm glad we got good conditions. You know, it can get pretty blustery up here, but I think we'll be just fine.
The view was wonderful. I mean, there was a little haze from the smoke, but you know, it's absolutely worth coming out. Even on a smoky day, it's worth it. It's lovely.
You can't decide if you want to keep going because it's getting late and later and later, or just stop and take pictures whenever we want to take pictures, right? You can't, it's like this place, oh, it's gorgeous. And you go to the next one, oh, it's gorgeous. At some point, we got to finish the ride. But it's amazing. We'll totally do it again.
So you guys are running a rest stop here. What all do you have for folks who are getting thirsty or hungry?
Oh gosh, we have all sorts of good things. So of course we always start with water. That's one of the most important things. But we have fresh banana bread. We have lots of little crackers and snacks. And the most popular thing this year has been pickles. Not only are pickles good for you for the electrolytes, but they taste great. So yeah, happy to offer those.
Good salt content, high vinegar content. Yeah, it's a good one.
How's the pickle?
It's delightful.
Do you find that the pickle does what they claim it does in terms of boosting your energy levels and helping with cramps?
100%. It's the pickle juice, really. It's not the pickle itself. It's the juice.
Yeah.
I did have a pedal assist e-bike, so I think that opens up the opportunity for a lot of people who maybe couldn't do the ride before that. I don't think I could have done it on a regular bike, but I just had the pedal assist. I had it turned down to the minimum. But you know, you can do it on full blast and get around. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a great opportunity for everybody.
And this is your pedal assist e-bike right here?
That is my pedal assist e-bike, yes. It's pretty much the only way I can get on a bike and get up a hill.
It's fantastic. Yeah, it's great that that's enabling people to kind of continue to do this.
Absolutely.
On
I mean,
and
if
on.
you look at the people who are finishing the ride, you know, you've got all shapes and sizes, lots of different levels of fitness, and I think that's good. Age is just a number.
I'm 74 now. Last time I did it, I was in my 30s or 40s, and I did it with my son. And now I'm riding an electric bike, which makes it a hell of a lot easier. And I had a great time. The trick is keep going in your 40s, 50s, 60s. When your life is super busy, you got to stay fit. Staying active and exercising is the critical thing to be healthy as you get older.
I'm glad that people are allowed to use their e-bikes here because some events don't allow e-bikes necessarily. So it's good to get all age groups and fitness levels. Absolutely. So I appreciate that.
You see big people, small people, every kind of person you can imagine. It's fantastic.
Now, have you ever done this cycling event yourself? Have you ridden around this thing?
I have not ridden around in terms of this event. I have ridden around, especially at the beginning of the season when much of the road was still closed off. I was able to ride the park on my bike without any vehicles, and it was a really fantastic experience just going, 40 miles per hour down a hill and not having to worry about dodging cars. That's a real win, and I think most of these bikers are going to feel the same. It's a lot of fun. It's, people come by on a daily basis and say, you have the coolest job, and they're not wrong. It is a really wonderful job coming out here and being able to have Crater Lake as your backdrop for work every day.
With 2 Crater Lake shoots under our belt, my crew and I started looking forward to the solar eclipse we knew was coming in October, because theoretically, Crater Lake was going to be an ideal spot to witness the eclipse. We made our plans and were ready for an early morning drive up to the lake, but the night before, I received news that there was snow sticking to the ground along the rim drive. Knowing that the eclipse was a rare occurrence that we'd only have one real shot at capturing, we made what turned out to be a terrible last-minute change of plans to instead go to this lower altitude location in the Klamath Basin to the immediate east of the crater. It felt like a good call not to risk getting caught up on an icy road and miss the eclipse. We drove out there in the wee hours of the morning, only to realize that we were beneath a sea of clouds. It was becoming pretty clear that conditions were not on our side, but we went ahead with setting up our equipment anyway in the hope that some sign of the eclipse would emerge. Besides a general darkening of our surroundings, which you can somewhat see in this time lapse, we saw nothing. In defeat, we packed up and headed for home, but got lucky on the drive when I noticed this sight through the clouds.
It's something.
At least it was something, but later, to our collective horror, we learned that Crater Lake hadn't received any real snow. And on top of that, the view from our home in the Rogue Valley was exquisite. Here's a few shots taken by our coworker Yin Abramson from his backyard in Medford. Our lack of good coverage, in addition to my complete neglect to conduct any interviews that day, means the solar eclipse couldn't really be turned into a normal Us As We Are segment. So instead, I'm going to present you with our much more successful coverage of this last summer's Perseid Meteor Shower. We attended a stargazing party at the Siskiyou Field Institute outside of Selma, Oregon, put on in collaboration with Oregon Caves National Monument.
All right, I am Vicki Schnitzler, and I am on the board here at Siskiyou Field Institute. I would say there's two main missions. The first one would be environmental education, and that's for youth. We do outdoor school, and we also do adult adventure programs. And they are held here on campus, or they are held all around Southern Oregon. And then the second mission is we have about 800 acres in this drainage, and so we are stewards of that resource, and we work with the Oregon Watershed Enhancement Board to take care of that acreage that we have that's completely undeveloped. We are here for the annual Perseid Meteor Shower, and we are doing this program in collaboration with Oregon Caves National Monument and Preserve, which is near and dear to my heart because in a previous life I was the superintendent at Oregon Caves.
I want to let you folks know we're going to start our program in about 15 minutes. So, everyone have a great time and enjoy the stargazing.
Well, my name is Ranger Bree, and I'm presenting to you here at the Siskiyou Field Institute in Selma, Oregon. And this is a beautiful meteor shower. In fact, one of the most well-known in probably the entire year because it has meteors that view about a 90 per hour. Very visible. It's known for its fireballs, these beautiful, beautiful, brilliant, bright lights that shine and streak off this comet known as Swift-Tuttle. It's an ice comet, orbits every 133 years. So last time we saw it was in 1992. So the next time we see it isn't going to be until about the 2100s. But the fortunate thing is, every single year, the Earth passes through the debris field left by the comet. So those debris are those bright little streaks of light we see shooting across those skies. Those little bits of ice are shooting across, and those are what we know as meteors.
Have you seen any shooting stars, any meteors so far?
So far, yes. We've seen a few shooting stars. But usually somebody coughs over there and you look and then you miss it. Right. But no, yeah, we've seen a few.
I'm Christina, and my father, Ted, brought me here tonight. He's been wanting to do this for over a month now since he saw it in the newspaper.
Yeah, well, what do you think of the meteor shower so far? Have you seen any meteors?
I saw one. I keep missing him somehow. I don't know. I'm looking in the wrong place at the wrong time.
My name is Yuju, and what brought me here is I just came with my auntie them. I'm really just admiring the sky. And I've never seen this much stars, to be honest. Because, you know, being from Vegas, it's a lot of lights, so you can't really see the stars in the dark.
What brought me here today, I saw it in the newspaper. So I came, I got all the whole family going.
Have you seen any shooting stars so far tonight?
Yeah, a couple.
You seen any meteors?
I've seen about four of them.
I see the stars.
I see you guys have a telescope. Have you been looking at anything interesting to that?
This is our first time bringing it out and using it, so we're just testing it out to see what it does.
I'm just super excited with this turnout, and I think it's super amazing that people are so interested in our stars because honestly, I think it's a beautiful, long-lived pastime. I mean, how long have we gazed up at the stars and seen the beauty of them?
Guy told us there's some 400, 500 people out here, so that's kind of exciting.
And everybody seems to be enjoying themselves and looking up at the night sky, which is just, I don't know if you can get a shot of that, but it's absolutely spectacular.
In the 40s, I saw a massive amount of beautiful, huge amount of meteors.
I don't mean to be rude, but how old are you, Ted?
83. It was the neatest thing I ever saw in my life.
Almost 3 in the morning, 2:58 a.m. We've been out here time-lapsing the sky. Hopefully we caught a bunch of meteorites. We're gonna have to find out in post. Something tells me this is not gonna be the last night we have to do something like this in order to have this shoot done with. But I don't think we're exactly dreading the prospect of spending another evening under the stars. In order to produce this story, my crew and I had to immerse ourselves in the challenging art of astrophotography. Astrophotography is a pursuit I've engaged in periodically since 2020, when through a combination of trial and error, plus a lot of luck, I was able to capture this time lapse of Comet Neowise as it passed by Earth. Each one of the time lapses I've shown you takes about 2 or 3 hours to record, so we had to do this multiple days in a row. Long nights out on the roof made for a really delightful way to conclude the non-smoky part of summer. Today it was about 110 degrees, and now it's about 98 degrees at 9 p.m. while we're setting up to do another astrophotography shoot up here on the roof. It's after 3 a.m. It's kind of exhausting doing this, but it's so satisfying when you get images that look really good. Astrophotography is a great way for me to connect with one of my deep interests, space exploration. The mysteries and challenges of space satisfy the part of my personality that seeks new adventures, experiences, and opportunities to learn. Another thing that hits this mark for me is aviation, which is why I was very excited when I got the chance to produce tonight's final story. Back in July, while filming at the Rogue Eagles RC Airshow, I made the acquaintance of Chris Huber, who, if you can believe it, is a real pilot. For whatever reason, he decided it would be fun to take me along for a flight in his motor glider to see some of the best sights in Southern Oregon, including Crater Lake. I met up with Chris at the Rogue Valley International Airport.
And then climbed up to above Crater Lake, take some pictures of Crater Lake, which today should be spectacular. And anytime if you feel uneasy or anything, tell me, we'll go back as fast as doable.
I like to think I'm pretty brave. I enjoy this sort of stuff. This is the smallest airplane I will have ever ridden in. I think prior to this, it was the B-17 bomber that visited, which is a lot larger, of course, you know, it's the Flying Fortress.
Yeah.
But what type of airplane is this that we're looking at?
It is a Zimango, a French design called RF-10.
Okay.
But not too much, just so you're comfy.
Yeah, enough room to kind of lean forward.
Leave this one out, yeah.
Okay. Once airborne, the audio situation on my cameras became untenable, but that was nothing unexpected, and I was already having a really good time. Chris flew me west from Medford over the Table Rocks and told me about how there used to be an airstrip on Lower Table Rock where planes of this size could land, but that it was closed in the 1980s. Some folks still attempt to land on it, but Chris cautioned that there were some sizable boulders there now that made it a sketchy idea. From Table Rock, we flew north, following the Rogue River. I was enjoying myself identifying the different mountain peaks visible from this altitude. There's Mount McLaughlin, with Mount Shasta just behind it, and there's Mount Thielsen. Before I knew it, we were coming in close around a great Southern Oregon landmark, Rabbit Ears Rock. From the Rabbit Ears, we continued north, and before I knew it, we were soaring over Crater Lake. This is absolutely the most intense way to experience Crater Lake's grandeur. Through filming the other segments for this episode, I'd become pretty acquainted with the lake, where the islands are, the lodge building, but this was just something else entirely. After a few orbits of Crater Lake, Chris flew me east. I caught a glimpse of the Sky Lakes, which is one of my favorite areas to go hiking in Southern Oregon, and saw with new eyes the Klamath Basin. Heading in this direction, the view of Mount Shasta was much better, but the real treat was getting to fly directly over the peak of Mount McLaughlin. I think if there had been any climbers there, we would have been able to wave at them. All good things must come to an end, and eventually it was time to land back in Medford. We came in past Roxy Ann Peak, lined up with the runway, and made our approach. Being able to see straight ahead while the plane made its touchdown was a really cool perspective I'd never had before. Fantastic.
What a ride. My new friend Chris didn't really want any publicity out of taking me along, but all the same, Chris, thank you for taking me along and only charging me the very reasonable price of wiping the dead bugs off the airplane. And that'll be it for tonight's episode. What a ride! From the crystal clear waters of Crater Lake to the pristine views of our night sky to the welcoming of new American citizens, all of tonight's topics reflect something special about living in Southern Oregon.
There's a 1960s philosopher poet from the United States whose words of wisdom regarding citizenship have been cherished and repeated by millions. His name was Woody Guthrie, and he penned these immortal words. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me.
This land is your land, and this land is my land.
Maria, really good to meet you. Congratulations once again. Welcome, and good to have you guys as fellow Americans here. Yeah, cheers. Congratulations.
Get outside, be active, have fun.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, hey, thank you.
You can get a close-up of this
Oh,
as
yeah,
well.
right there. No kidding.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Enjoy those pickles. Hey, Vicky, really good to meet you. Thanks for having us out here. All right, Ranger Bree,
Yeah,
really good to
nice
meet you.
to meet you. Yeah, I hope you have a wonderful night. Enjoy yourself at the program tonight, and yeah, take a nice gaze at our beautiful stars.
I'm Keegan Van Hook, and this is us.
As we are. This land was made for you and me.